play one-on-one coverage. So you play with two safeties, and then two, down in the red zone, they're just so good at math in that quarterback run game. And that's why they're so difficult. You play two high safeties, and this is really a PRO, a concept that is simple, a stick route, where Kyler Murray really wants to throw that ball first off that backer. If he comes down inside towards the ball, he's just going to kick that ball to Larry Fitzgerald for a little stick route. Now, option number two could be a run game, where if that backer flows towards Larry Fitzgerald, you can hand it off. What's that backer do? Kyler gets his eyes on him right now. That backer's got eyes on Larry Fitzgerald. Great, you're committed to Fitz. Now I got 5 blockers for your 5 defensive guys in the box. Draw a handoff. That's such an easy run for this offense. Now let's go to the math equation for this offense. Kyler Murray knows it. They're going to line up with 7 guys to block in their run game. Buffalo adds 8 to the defense, but I could take one of those 8 and give him to the quarterback. Now it's 7 on 7. That defensive end, listen, if Kyler Murray even feels a little bit of a commitment towards the running back and he out-leverages him outside, that ball is going to get kept. No one can run with him in space, and it's an easy touchdown with lead blockers. With Kyler Murray, this offense is just so dangerous, so difficult to plan for, and they're special doing it.
And then when you see the other side, Russell Wilson, in the last 4 games, he's committed 10 turnovers. So how this plays out, because he doesn't play defense, who you got in this one?
I'm taking Arizona, and I think this game comes down to pressure. What quarterback, what offense handles the blitz better? And not only that, what defense, when they actually blitz, executes it the best? I'll take Arizona right now because they're hot.
Seahawks fans, we do have some good news. Russ, by the way, he plays really well on Thursday nights. He's 8-1 in his career, trying to get to 9-1 in a critical division game. Dan, thank you.
More to come on Klay Thompson being out for the season after tearing his Achilles. Tim Legler weighs in on the Warriors' keys to trying to fill Klay's void for a second straight season. Plus, we're counting down to college football's top 10 showdown. How Indiana can put Justin Fields and Ohio State on upset alert on Saturday.
Sage and Kevin back with you. Some of the headlines today in college football. Maryland's game against Michigan State has been canceled because of COVID issues with the Terps, including a positive test for head coach Mike Locksley. Maryland couldn't play Ohio State last weekend. Conor McGregor has finally signed the fight agreement to take on Dustin Poirier at UFC 257 on January 23rd. McGregor will return to the octagon for the first time in a little over a year. NBA free agency set to begin in less than 24 hours. Gordon Hayward has decided to opt out of the final year of his contract with the Celtics. He was scheduled to make $34 million. Now he can be a free agent. The news on Klay Thompson, not good. The Warriors star will miss another season. It is our breaking news tonight on SportsCenter. Thompson tearing his right Achilles tendon during a workout yesterday. This after missing last season, recovering from a torn ACL in his left knee. The 30-year-old loses another year in his prime, and it changes how many things could play out in the West this upcoming season for the Warriors. More from team president Bob Myers today.
It's very hard for an athlete, sometimes you get to stop playing on your own time and on your own terms. And Klay's going to keep playing. But when it gets disrupted like this for an athlete of his caliber, it hurts. And it hurts us that care about him. I'm sure our fans that follow us, feel the same way we do.
The Undefeated's Mark Spears joins us now live on SportsCenter along with NBA reporter Malika Andrews. Mark, we begin with you because you were there at that Warriors press conference earlier today. What stood out to you on how the franchise is responding to this news about Klay?
Well, this is supposed to be a joyous day. This is the day they introduced their number 2 pick, James Wiseman, also Nico Mannion, their new guard, but it was really somber in the beginning with their GM, Bob Myers, speaking for about 20 minutes about Klay Thompson. And before the press conference, I talked to 3 of Klay's former teammates, or 2 of them actually, Jaja Pachulia and Sean Livingston. They both reached out to him. Sean Livingston, as you remember, had a debilitating leg injury. He told Klay he's here for him. Jaja simply called Klay and told him that he loves him, and they're both going to be continually checking on him because they said they're both worried about him mentally.
It truly is a family atmosphere within that Warriors organization. Malika, let's check in with you because I know you've been talking to people from around the league when this news broke about Klay and the Achilles tear. What are you hearing?
Well, Sage, as you and Mark know, Klay Thompson is a beloved fixture around the NBA. And so I talked to one All-Star who said that he knows that Klay isn't necessarily known for showing emotion, but he cannot imagine how much this hurts. I talked to another coach who just said that it is sad. I talked to one Warriors staffer who said that it is, quote, devastating. This is rattling the league a little bit. There was a lot of expectations that the Warriors were going to be back. This is a player that they wanted to celebrate, they were excited for. And what I keep hearing over and over and over again is that basketball is Klay Thompson's lifeline in many ways. And these players cannot imagine having fought back for so long to make it back to be able to try again after one devastating injury and then is having to go through it all over again. So really, players around the league are feeling for Klay Thompson right now, Sage.
You mentioned his emotion and, of course, competitiveness. When you think back to when he tore that ACL in the 2019 finals and he went back in and tried to play, they couldn't keep him out, so I can't imagine how he's feeling tonight. Mark Spears, Malika Andrews with the very latest. Thanks to both of you. For more on Klay Thompson, let's check in with Mike Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser, PTI.
All right, Wilbon, do you think the Warriors will make the playoffs without Klay Thompson?
Yes, and they're not going to crawl in the 8th spot. They're going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to get to the conference finals or the finals. That's going to be ambitious, Tony, because the loss of Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's just a great, great, great player, and you don't get to the finals missing your second best player. Rarely, if ever, happens. But I'm going to project starting night lineup. Opening night lineup for the Warriors of Curry and Wiggins. Wiggins is going to be so much better for the Warriors than he was in Minnesota. It's not going to be close. Draymond Green, Wiseman, and Kelly Oubre. That's who I'm projecting as the starting five. That's a better starting five than, 22, 23 teams in the league, maybe more than that, if they can start those five. And I think the Warriors will make the playoffs. They're not going to go as far as we'd like to, and as we'd like to see them if they had Klay Thompson.
They're not just missing Klay Thompson. From the championship teams, they're missing Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson from the last 3 of those. This is an enormous loss. These are Hall of Fame players. Look, I know they still have Steph Curry, and I know they still have Draymond Green, and they still have Steve Kerr. And I like them, and I root for them. But that starting team you mentioned, you don't just get there on starting teams. People don't play 48 minutes other than wilt. It doesn't happen anymore. The West is loaded. I'm not sure they're going to make the play. They were 15th last year, and Curry missed a lot of games too. They were 15th. I think if they make it, it will be very close to number 8. I do. And I root for them and that entire organization.
Tony, let me just point this out. There's some teams that are going to slip back. All right, Oklahoma City is not going to be in that mix anymore. The Houston Rockets...
Right. Houston.
No matter who they have, they ain't going to be in that mix anymore. But yes, there are young teams coming like Dallas and Phoenix who will pop up. But I still think when you look, if they got to make one signing. I'm not saying it's going to be cataclysmic or it's going to be a Hall of Famer, because it won't be that. And you don't replace Klay Thompson. So anybody who says, oh, Wilbon says they're going to, no, shut up. What I'm saying is they're going to have enough to get in the playoffs, Tony, even without Klay Thompson. The championship window, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the playoffs.
Let me go back on Durant for a second. Durant was there for 2 of the titles.